I know this wasn't scheduled, but I do try to stream regularly, so I'm going to give it a moment. Oh, need my anarchy necklace out. I'm always doing that, aren't I? I don't like having all my gear hidden, right? Like my Reno shirt. Anyway, I was giving it a few minutes to build an audience because when I don't announce ahead of time, that usually doesn't happen. This is not going to be a long stream, but I know that is always famous last words with me. But I wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. Please feel free to get in the chat. But this will be a very skinny stream week for me because I'm getting back in the saddle. And there's a lot of work to do, which I love it. There's no complaining. It's just right now, it is dusk to dawn, getting everyone acclimated. My other few times that I've helped handle after election turnover, it hasn't been nearly a brand new LNC. Like, there's a lot of turnover this time. I'm excited, but a lot of training. Some of the back end of the website that I used to take care of, it's not technically part of the secretary's job, but I always took it upon myself. And so there's a lot of cleanup to do. The minutes pages, and there's no blame, there's no shade. Everyone got super busy. But the committees page needs to be cleaned up. The minutes page needs to be cleaned up. I did the platform today. There was quite a few changes with that. Getting everyone set up on the list. You should be subscribing. Hello, Stephen. You should be subscribing to the LNC list. If you're not, let me see if I can get that link for you guys. Hold on one second. Where are Google? I had it up here. Man, I've just got way too many tabs open. So let me try to open LNC Mail, and I can stick this up on my screen because you can go to this Google group and subscribe to the LNC list. And let me see if I can add a caption. Whoop, I don't want Patreon. No, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for this. Okay, so that's the Google group. You should go there and subscribe to it. You should really keep track of what's going on in the LNC. It will let you know if they're going off the rails, which I don't anticipate, or things you want to give input on, volunteer opportunities. But just in general, you should always be watching your representatives and your leadership like hawks. Always. I've always said that. And I'll never stop saying that. So far, obviously it's just the beginning of the term, but it's, I believe, good things to come. You'll see how busy, though, the party secretary is in the week after turnover. Nearly, I know people are going to say, this isn't unusual for you. You always do too many emails to begin with. But that's not the case in this instance. I mean, it might be the case later. I do tend to email a bit too much, which I'm going to try to curb this time. But there's just a lot of administrative stuff to do. Yes, Martin. Everyone's got to watch the sexual harassment training. And the joke always has been, but you can't even joke about this stuff anymore. It doesn't teach you how to sexually harass. It teaches you how not to sexually harass. The older video was funnier. Not that sexual harassment is funny, because it's not, but it was just very over the top. Like the older video, like had things that everyone knew like wasn't correct. They'd have a boss like blatantly, grabbing at a secretary or something like that. It was very, very over the top. This new one they have is a lot more professional, but yes, everyone has to watch it. And I see Tyler says it shouldn't be required. It is required for our E&O insurance. So it's required by the insurance company as far as I know. So this isn't necessarily a choice of the LNC. We have to have errors and omissions coverage, and that is required It is required for our insurance policy, Tyler. So no, people shouldn't resist. If we believe, yeah, if we believe in, non-state solutions and having insurance and things like that, a private company can require that. So, from my understanding, that's also why we have to have certain things in the policy manual. Though I think our policy manual has grown and gone way too far. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update as to what I was doing and why I'm going to be scarce this week. I'm compiling now the disclosures, the potential conflicts of interest I'm getting from everybody. We're trying to get, all the headshots done. There's a bunch of, it should work. Hold on one second. That should absolutely work. I'm going to try to do it on another screen. Why is it? No, that works for me. I don't know why that's not working for you, Martin, but let's pull up the website and I'll show you guys where to find it and we'll see something here. Let me go to lp.org. Just give me 1 second. I always like showing people anyway where to find this stuff because sometimes our website isn't the most intuitive. So let me share my screen here. Let's go to the website. So here's you guys should be seeing the website right now. And if you go down to the bottom of the screen, here where it says LNC minutes and discussion, if you click on that, you can see, oh my God, this really hasn't been updated in forever, has it? Deep breath, Karen Ann. Spreadsheet recording all LNC votes for 2021. I think you probably want 2022. LPedia, the bylaws, here's the policy manual, list of public committee discussion lists. This is very helpful. If you go here, you can see if you've ever wanted to follow some of these committees, this is where you find the list. Now, most of these will be repopulated. But like, for instance, if you wanted to follow the Historical Preservation Committee, here is our mailing list. But let's go back to that main index. This I can delete, this LNC votes. This is like 4 years old now. We don't need that there anymore. Same thing with this legacy email archives. We used to have a different kind of email list. It's interesting, though, if you go here, so you can go all the way back to 2012. I'll probably keep this here in case anyone wants to do any research. But this is the way our email list used to look. So it'd be like this. In a way, it's more useful, but in another way, it's not. This is from what, 2012? Yeah. Here's where I first started on the LNC, way back here, 2016. But anyway, yeah, so that's the old archives. Right here is LNC email archives. This is the current one. And as you can see, all of the emails pretty much have been from me lately. Okay, only because it's administrative stuff. But on this page, you can also go to the leadership page. I need to fix this. I know this isn't right. The regional map has not yet been updated. I know that is not correct. But as you can see, we're starting to get the pictures in here. We're going to be getting a professional photographer for all of these silhouettes. I know there's a few more people that have sent me pictures that we haven't gotten up yet. We will. It's just been super, super busy. The platform is here if you want to look at our new platform, and you can download it in PDF. All right, let me go back to my screen here and stop the share. So right here. So yes, you should subscribe to the mailing list. I got a moth flying around here. I'm like, it's making me murderous. Murderous of moths. I'm a pacifist, but not the moths. Anyway, so yes, please do subscribe to the LNC list. But I wanted to give you guys just a little update as to why I'll be a bit absent. Starting next week, I intend to get back on a regular schedule, back to history. Some people have suggested like a party news recap. I'll be doing that. Remember, there is an LNC meeting this Sunday. The notice for it will be up on the website. I'll be posting that publicly tomorrow. But if you go to the LNC business list, you'll see whenever there's an email ballot or a meeting notice, I put it in all caps, so it's really easy to see. Let's go over there for a second. Chrome tab, Libertarian Party. Let's go back here. So go back down to the footer. LNC minutes and discussion, email archives. So you see right here, it's in all caps. It makes it easy to see. So you can go here and find out about the meeting. I do encourage everyone to come. We're going to be discussing the situation in Massachusetts, which kind of got punted till this term. It'll either be something that the LNC resolves or the Judicial Committee resolves. And realistically, it'll probably be both, because no matter what the LNC does, it will probably draw a Judicial Committee appeal. And that's okay, because that's members exercising their rights. Tyler asked about us negotiating a debate forum. That's on everybody's radar. But it's a little bit off, but that is on everybody's radar, certainly. And thank you. Yeah, Martin, you might have omitted the last thing, but you should be getting all the emails as an LNC member into your email box. If you're not, let me know. And thank you, Glenn, for the compliment, and thank you, Cameron. Any thoughts on rebranding the party logo? You're not on yet. How come? Let me know how I can help you. Did you get the password reset email? So you should get an email. It says password reset for martin.cohen@lp.org. It's hosted by G Suite. So even though it's lp.org, it is a Gmail address. You reset your password and you should be good to go. Let me know. Get with me off list at secretary@lp.org, and we'll help get you on. We had a little bit of problem getting Andrew on earlier. Cameron said, any thoughts on rebranding the party logo? You should have been, Martin. Everyone was sent a link on Monday. Check your spam folder. That's where Andrew found his. Otherwise, we will get Tyler to resend you one. No, I'm not going to say what we're going to do, but I can tell you I'm not inclined to support rebranding the party logo, and I'll tell you why. It's very expensive to redo everything, and we just rebranded. I don't know if you were around at this time, which is, it's good to have a mix of older people. Not that I am older. I'm not a millennial or anything like that, but I've been around a little bit longer than some of the other people to have a little bit of institutional knowledge. There was already a big turmoil in the party and a big rebranding in 2016, or was it 2015? It was right before I joined the LNC, and we used to have that medallion, Lady Liberty. I don't know if it's the circle one with all the stars and the, Statue of Liberty. That used to be our logo. We rebranded in 2016. It is way too early to consider that again. Do I like the new logo? No, I've hated it since day one, but it's what we have, and we spent a lot of money on it, and we now are associated with it. It does hurt. You do go backwards when you radically rechange your logo because people are used to it, whether they like it or not. I still call it the chicken on a stick. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So, and hey there, Mr. McCose. I loved working with you on platform as well. And speaking of that, so I just got off the phone with Angela right before this show. We're really talking about utilizing LPTV much more than we have in the past. You know, multimedia is where it's at. So we are we're going to be doing a lot more shows there. And I said to Angela, until we get our programming director, whoever she has in mind for that, if she wouldn't mind if I just start putting some content up there, non-branded. Obviously, it won't be branded with my personal branding. It will be branded LP stuff. But I would like to go over the platform changes. I think a lot of even people who are at convention, because it was a speed round, but particularly people who weren't at convention, are probably very interested in the changes that were made. So I'm going to be recording a show for LPTV going over all of the platform changes. And that will probably be up in the next couple of days, but I do need to finish all of the administrative stuff, and my suitcases are still just spread all over the place. But yes, it's very nice to be back. I'll tell you that. A lot of work though, a lot of catch up work to do, but I will hopefully just do some mini updates over the next few days if anything goes on. Hopefully there'll be no fires. God, each time I say that, now I'm like I'm so superstitious because the last time I said everything's peaceful, everything's fine. Hector, you were probably there that Florida convention. Oh, remember Stephen Nikela? This is the most peaceful LNC ever. And then here I am just sitting there doing my parliamentary thing. I'm looking at my phone. And all of a sudden, I need to find this text message because this was the beginning of the end. I look down and I get a text message that said, "What the hell just happened in New Hampshire?" And I'm looking at this going, what? And then the image came through with the announcement. And I look at Steve, he looks at me, and we're like, And I say to him, everything's running smoothly here. Can I be excused? And that's when my life got turned upside down. Oh my God. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be recording that platform video. Tim asked if the usual audit has occurred yet. No. And that will be a couple months out. I don't think people in general realize how intensive that is because you had a bunch of tellers entering all of that. An audit's done by one person. It would have been done by John Wilford as convention secretary, but he asked me if I didn't mind taking care of it, and I absolutely don't mind. He's doing the convention minutes. So Mike knows it's a big ass box, man. Like it's a big ass box of ballots. And I'll be doing that audit on my own. I might film it because I remember in 2020, there were all kinds of questions about the secretary race because libertarians. That's funny, Datmo. Yes, that's how I became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But there was all kinds of questions on the secretary's ballot in 2020. So I did a live audit to show people that actually I was cheated a few votes, not many. We found 3 extra votes, I think it was, for me in the audit. So, but I might do the audit segment by segment live. Maybe do one of them for LPTV because I think members would be interested in what a post-convention audit looks like. But the one that's going to be a bear is the 4 rounds for vice chair. Like, that's going to be fun. So, yeah, I'll be doing that. Mike and I think, are recording on Sunday, Cult of RONR, and then he'll hang out for the LNC meeting. Saturday is my county affiliate convention, and I'm their secretary. So yay, I got another convention as secretary. Fun. But it's just a county convention, so that won't be too difficult. But yeah, Timothy, I don't expect me to even start the audit. I don't expect to get the box for a couple weeks because I told them it's not a hurry. It's a big ass heavy box. Ship it to me and the cheapest way possible to save the party money. So I don't even expect the box for a couple weeks. And then it's probably going to take me about a month to do the audit. Is it normal for an audit post-convention in RONR? The audit is not to do anything with the results. Results have to be challenged at convention. The purpose of the audit is to catch mistakes and try to figure out why they happened so we can put protocols in place for the future to avoid them from happening. I can tell you some typical mistakes we found in the past was on an at-large ballot. I think it was in 2020. It might have been 2018. In the at-large race, and this was when we used to have like 60 people in the at-large race, there were 3 people running whose names were, first name was Joe, and their last name started with B. One of them was Bookman. One of them was Bishop Henchman. I forgot who the third one was, but some people wrote on their ballots, Joe B. Well, we learned then to tell people to put down either just the full name. You can't even say just the last name because very often there's multiple Smiths. So like that was an error we found. In 2020, with the electronic ballots where we were mixing hybrid with in-person, the mistake that kept getting made is on the ballot sheets, the candidates were in alphabetical order. But Election Buddy randomized the candidates, as most electronic programs do. So when the delegation chairs were transferring the votes to the tally sheet, they were just going first one, without realizing that one was in alphabetical order and one wasn't. So that was something to learn. There's always something that we learn, but even if the audit turns up that a race, that there was an error that would have made a difference, it doesn't matter. That person is elected. You cannot change election results after the convention. And I think in the history of the party, at least the history that I know, there's only been one, and I don't think it would have ultimately changed the I think 2018 was the 3 Joe B's. But in, was it 2012 or 2014, whenever Nick ran for chair for the first time, I don't think this would have changed the results of the election. I think it would have just added an extra round. But if I'm remembering correctly, and this will be close if it's not exactly, Nick was declared to be a winner like on round 3 or something like that by 1 vote. And the audit showed that he really didn't in that round. But it was obvious from the trend he was going to win. So I don't think it would have changed the results. It would have just required a 4th round or something like that. And that's the only significant error that I recall in an audit. However, I did a way after the fact. So how reliable it is up for question. Audit of the Portland massacre platform deletions. Back then, your platform token votes were recorded with your name. It was done a lot differently there. It wasn't like you could cast 5 tokens. You got a big sheet and you put a check mark next to every plank you wanted to delete. And if any plank got a majority, or it was something like that. I don't really remember the rules, but it wasn't a secret ballot. So I have the giant spreadsheet of ballots from 2006. They were retrieved from the trash for me. I don't want to say who gave them. It wasn't for me particularly, because when they were retrieved from the trash, this was in 2006. I wasn't in the party, but the person, no, Ken did not explain the process wrong, Tyler. He was reading from our convention rules. I don't agree with our convention rules, but Ken was absolutely right in how he explained it. We don't do it that way in Colorado, but he wasn't incorrect. He read it precisely from the rules. There'll be some percentages, I think, that might change slightly, but nothing to change the results because of some other issues. So back to the Portland massacre thing, I need to do a whole show on this. So I don't really want to say the name of the person who gave me these ballots, but somebody who was in favor of the Portland massacre, they're in my stream a lot. If they want to out themselves, they can out themselves. Thought there was, let's just say, voting irregularities. Whether or not it was on purpose, whether it was sloppiness, hard to tell. But even though he got the results he wanted, he wasn't sure it was done fair and square. That takes some integrity there. So he retrieved the ballots and saved them for years, knowing one day there would be somebody who might want to investigate this. And lo and behold, surprise, surprise, 10 years later, along does trot somebody, and that was me. And he gave me the data that he had, told me the suspicions that he had, and said, I hope you can track some of these people down. So I did. And I did find voting irregularities. We need to do a whole show on this one time. If anyone's super interested in the Portland massacre, I want to pull something up here. Didn't I say this was going to be a short stream? No, it isn't, because the minute I get into history, I get all giddy and stupid. And I got my little notes here on my Portland research. Interesting. So I want to pull up a screen here. You guys will find this fascinating, I think. Okay, share screen, Chrome tab. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Mike. So look at this interesting data I have. So this is from 2016, and we had 1 million planks then, as you can see. And you can see these percentages, but when you start, so none of these got deleted, these ones below 50%. Or was it over 40%? I can't remember what the totals were. But look here at like the narrow margins. You had 49.8%, 49.6%, 50.4%. Those are some tight margins. Why an audit wasn't ordered on the floor, I have no idea. So here it says the planks that were retained and the ones that ended up being deleted. And all of those fails, look, we used to have a secession plank and all that. All of those fails were all planks that were deleted in the Portland massacre. So, and if you go here to summary, but here's everyone's ballots with their names. Imagine doing this as a teller, Mike. How'd you like to do this spreadsheet? Look at this one. Oh my God, your eyes just crossed. But something you'll notice, 243 names. We gutted our platform with just 243 delegates. That is less than the quorum at most of our conventions. This was just an abomination. But anyway, there were some very interesting names here. I'm trying to find some. Let me do a search. I have to do it on this column, I think. Let's go to this column. So for instance, part of the problem was that they switched yeses and nos for this convention. So people got confused. And here's another sheet here. And basically, people thought they were voting no to retain when, no to not delete when it was no to retain. So there was a super lot of confusion. But, I did a lot of research with that, but figured you would find that really fascinating, Mike. So that's the platform deletion things from the Portland massacre. You guys are looking at a piece of history here that most people don't know I have, because those discs or whatever were retrieved from the trash. But I wanted to look at my notes here on the Portland research here. Yeah, so it was yes to retain, no not to retain. So it says here, I spoke with Lawrence Samuel, who some of you may know from California. He said he absolutely did not vote to delete, but that sheet shows he voted to delete. He says he could have been confused on the first ballot because they switched the yeses and the nos from prior conventions. I spoke with Barry Hess. He said he did not vote to delete. And I was trying to find Squires, who was the platform committee chair, and has him down as voting to delete. But he was platform committee chair and was heartbroken that they did that. So it's just really interesting. It was George Squires. Yeah. So anyway, that's some research I need to get back to. So basically the person who gave me that data was like, there are people on there that I don't believe would have voted to delete these planks. They are hardcore radicals. And I contacted a few of them, like Lawrence Samuels, Barry Hess, so on and so forth, who confirmed they did not vote the way the sheet showed they did. Now, again, that doesn't mean anyone changed their votes. I think there was a lot of confusion. Or tellers' eyes could have crossed. You saw that sheet. Mistakes could easily have been made. But when you're talking about margins of 50.4% with only 234 delegates, a few votes can make all the difference in the world. Now, it's too late to do anything about it, but it was an interesting exercise, and I really would love to find George Squires. If anyone knows where George Squires is, I kind of had to drop this research because I got really involved with the National Party, became national secretary sort of thing. Last I tracked him down, he was in the Philippines and just never could get in touch with him. But you want to know who was helping me with this research at the time? Nick Sarwark, because he didn't agree at the time with the Portland massacre. Just goes to show people do change. He isn't the same person he used to be. He was really helping me find George Squires. We never were successful, but so I thought you would find that interesting, Mike. I need to get that data up on Lpedia. I just hadn't had a chance, but again, I've become convinced, though people disagree with me because they would rather think there was some grand conspiracy. There were radicals on there who I did confirm did vote to delete. And I'll tell you why. And I'm going to be probably labeled a heretic here by some people in the radical caucus. I'm not sure how I would have voted. And the problem was because of the 2004 platform. I know it was the best of intentions, but we went from 2002 to 2004. 2002 was like a normal platform format. 2004, they switched over to that god-awful accordion format, which is impossible to maintain. And I think people in 2006 looked at that and said, holy crap, we just need to start over. And I really think that is what changed the course of this party. The decision to go to an accordion format. Colorado had that the year that Mike Seebeck was screaming at me in Colorado Springs. You're doing the Colorado Springs massacre. I know you were. I'm never going to let you live that down, Mike. But we had that god-awful accordion format in Colorado, too. Oh, it was awful. Okay, guys. I just got off on a history tangent, I suppose. But we'll do a show on the Portland massacre one day. And yeah, so I'm going to get back to work doing conflicts of interest. But please, please be engaged with the LNC. I know a lot of you checked out. Oh, and thank you, Rick R., that my reelection restored faith. And it's funny, that's a perfect segue because that's exactly what I was getting into. I know a lot of you checked out these past couple years, and I don't blame you. It's time to check back in. It is time to check back in. Let's see what this LNC can do. But it's easy for all of us to make a lot of promises. But if the party members don't get behind us and check back in, it can't be done. 16, 17 people. I think we have a 17 person LNC now. 17 people can't do it on their own. So if you've been holding off on rejoining as a dues payer, please do not hold off anymore. The last LNC drove this party into insolvency. We are in deep financial trouble. Now, we raised a lot of money at convention, which is good, but it's not enough because the last LNC, I'm not even going to try to say why. I'm not going there. I'm only going to say the fact of the matter. How we got there is not important right now. The fact of the matter of right before convention, we were pretty much insolvent is what's important now. No, Rick, they got rid of the affiliate program. That might be something Angela's interested in revisiting. I don't know. We haven't been able to discuss it. We really got to give Angela a good month to, get caught up with staff and things like that. All right, everyone, I am going to get going and finish my work and hopefully get to sleep at a decent hour tonight. Love you all. Bye-bye.